you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be possible. I don't go live all the time. I'm still getting the hang of this. And tonight I got a special guest on Low Nose Boxing. This man, aka Troy King, aka Bueno de Chivo. You've seen him on YouTube channels before with Boxing Ego. You've seen him with the boxing voice. You also seen him box before professional. He turned pro in Mexico, got a few fights under his belt, and he been in there and the spar with the best fighters out there from Andre Ward, Amir Khan, Demetrius Andre, and I could go on and on. And you know, I just want to see how many people I get up on the channel tonight on the live because I got an interesting topic to talk about. There's a lot of things going on in boxing tonight. Before we get to the main topic, I want to talk about Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has single-handedly restored the honor in the heavyweight division
Did he
tonight.
stop, dude?
Did he stop him? Anthony Joshua knocked him out in 2 rounds. I can't believe you ain't watched the fight, bro.
No, I didn't even get to see it. I was live, and then I had like an appointment with my
Anthony
therapist.
Joshua put up the type of performance that Lennox Lewis did. Whenever Lennox Lewis is backwards to the wall, I'll give you an example. Hold on one second. Somebody told me that my live says 12 o'clock. Well, I'm live right now. Welcome to the live chat. Remember
Yeah,
to
we
come.
live right now.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, Lennox Lewis, right? Remember when he came on the scene? He fought
Yeah,
Razor Run. He knocked him out, flatlined him, right? And then when he got knocked down by Hakeem Rotman, he came back in a rematch. He knocked him out.
yes,
And
he
then
did.
remember he fought Andrew Galata, right? Andrew Galata was coming off of destroying Riddick Bowe twice, even though he was disqualified. He beat the crap out of Riddick Bowe, and Lennox Lewis flatlined him. He also flatlined Michael Grant. That's what Anthony Joshua did tonight. And Gano, I'm surprised you didn't see the fight. Let me give you a breakdown. And Gano, in the first round, he kept trying to counter AJ's jab with the left hook, the same left hook that he caught Tyson Fury with.
Yeah,
But AJ was prepared for that. And then Ngannou had the nerve to go southpaw. Like, bro, if you're not a seasoned pro, if you're not a seasoned fighter, bro, you shouldn't be doing that. As
can't
soon as
do
he
it.
did that, AJ caught him with a right hand down the middle and dropped him. And then after that, he was a changed man for the rest of the fight. He respected AJ's power. AJ put him down twice in the second round brutally, put him to sleep. And he was knocked out even after he was knocked out. Even when AJ was talking, he was out.
Oh yeah, he won't be back, and
He
that's
did.
why you can't play with boxing when you come over there. You can listen. If I'm gonna watch that because in Ganu, I was saying it depends, and this is the thing, bro. It don't matter how hard you punch it. If you don't have defense, like defense has to be learned in boxing, bro. Because when you don't have it, it makes it very hard for you to do things you need to do. And just switching going southpaw, you just can't do that. Like if you haven't been seasoned to do that. So maybe people stop playing with boxing. Think you listen. And Ganu, he not. You know what's crazy? In MMA, they get knocked out all the time. So he probably not gonna trip. He probably gonna go back to the drawing board and want to try it again with a lesser opponent. But
You know what
yeah,
I
that
noticed, though?
can't be doing that.
Anthony Joshua looked real sharp. I never seen Anthony Joshua look sharp like this tonight.
Wait,
He
who
did
who who training him? Derrick James?
no. He was trained by Tyson Fury's guy. Ben Davison worked with him this time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then
Yeah,
that's yeah.
he did what Fury was supposed to do. Fury was supposed to go in there and separate himself. And you know me, I've never done that. As long as I've been doing this YouTube thing, which been since last January, I've I don't recall ever making a video regarding the heavyweight division. I
Yeah.
don't recall that. And I gotta admit, man, Anthony Joshua did his thing. But
I'm happy for him because he was back when Wilder was smoking everybody. He was looking like a weak link in there, but it take like I mean, it just take time though, for real. And if that's what and this is the thing, like he should have just said that. Like, when nobody would have expected him to get in there with Wilder that early, bro. Wilder was on a crazy streak, like, and that's when kind of like how Ness be putting it, like people be cherry picking, but no, it was just listen. If he would have fought Wilder back then, he would have went to bed, bro. You see what I'm saying? Because Wilder, it's kind of like shooting or doing anything. Once you doing it and you boxing all the time, it's a wrap when you get in the ring. And that's why you gotta have longevity. You can't be
Anthony
thirsty.
Joshua, Anthony Joshua turned out to be everything that Wilder isn't, because Wilder
Yeah.
was the one everybody was hyping him up, and rightly so. Wilder was knocking everybody out. AJ
Yeah.
was starting to look vulnerable, but at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua turned out to be the stronger man, and I say that because mentally he was able to bounce back from a loss. He took that loss against Andy Ruiz. That was a demoralized loss. He got stopped against a big underdog, right? He bounced back, won the rematch, and then he took two losses to a cruiserweight, two bad losses too. He bounced back from that. So that's a testament to his mental fortitude. So you got to give Anthony Joshua his props. Whether I feel Anthony Joshua will be a factor in the 90s or not, that's besides the point. Anthony Joshua right now is a factor, and now I'm actually interested in seeing him fight Tyson Fury. Because Tyson Fury
Mm-hmm.
likes to maul and lean on top of you, right? With AJ, you're not going to be able to really do it the way he did with Wilder. Because Anthony
Mm-mm.
Joshua physically is stronger than Wilder. So Fury's going to have to box him and going back to what he did when he fought Wilder the first time.
Yeah, like now, like you said, I want to see the Fury fight with Anthony Joshua because he was bigger than Ngannou.
Yeah,
Anthony Joshua is, so, and that lets you know, like, and when I seen him face to face, I'm like, damn, Anthony Joshua is pretty big. Like, this ain't gonna be like the Tyson Fury. This is Nigerian against Nigerian, like for real. So that's why I was like, damn, this ain't. Anthony Joshua didn't look like he was, rattled. You know what I mean? And tonight, well, this morning or whenever the fight took place, that was just a testament of the skills of boxing. Like,
yeah,
an Olympian against somebody in there who never really boxed. Yeah, he got fight experience, but the heavyweights is different.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah, no, it's good.
Um, we already talked about Anthony Joshua and all that because that's definitely breaking news. But damn, I ain't got nobody in the building, man. I had one person watching.
It
I'm not
takes
able to
listen,
see.
blood. It don't matter. You can
I'm not
listen.
able to see who's watching though, right? Because I never done this like this before.
No,
So we
no,
already
no.
talked
It
about
just
Anthony Joshua.
it just people would come in and out, and since you kind of knew, you got to remember on the East Coast is late, and you're on the East Coast. So people really don't be up this late. So really now you kind of like doing it for a West Coast audience because it's still
Gotcha.
early. But people's they always catch it on the playback, and you can always share it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then you still could be like, because sometimes when I be doing these, I'll be telling people hit my Cash App, and then they might hit my Cash App like 2 days later and be like, "Hey, thanks for the bars." You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, "Oh snap, you know what I mean?" So, bro, don't even trip, because I only
yeah,
sometimes, bro, when I be going live, I only be having like 5 or 6 people, but as time go, like it's only been 9 minutes, bro. Sometimes it take like 30 minutes for a couple people to come in.
yeah. But I want to touch on the topic to piggyback off what y'all were talking about in the boxing voice when y'all was talking about when the show was about Canelo Alvarez and what Andre Ward had said about him. So the super middleweight division been around for I don't know how many years, but I can tell you for me the most noteworthy super middleweights that I've seen during my years of watching boxing, besides Canelo Alvarez, we had before Canelo Alvarez, it was Andre Ward, right?
Yeah.
We had Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah,
um, Roy Jones Jr.,
yeah.
and James Toney. For me, those are the five best super middleweights that I can recall. So what I want to talk about is Canelo Alvarez the greatest super middleweight of all time? Like I want to talk about. Let's break down these fighters' resume at 168 because these are all fighters, to my knowledge, that have campaigned in various weight classes. Right? Canelo
Mm-hmm.
fought. Canelo fought at as far as success because he turned pro at 140. Canelo was a champ at 154, 160, 168, 175. When we look at Joe
Absolutely.
Kawasaki, Kawasaki was a champion at 168. He was a champion at 175.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Jones, James Toney, Andre Ward, the same thing. So first, let's start off with the resumes of these five fantastic super middleweights. Let's start off with James Toney. What's your take on it?
James Tony had a crazy resume because he wasn't ducking no work, and even though like if I'm not mistaken, James, the reason why James Tony is probably my favorite out of all of them because he by far was just skillful as crazy. But his resume is bananas because he really fought some. He fought everybody, dog. And one of his best wins where I would say where he was just peaking and looked the best was against, of course, Iran Barkley, stylistically and everything. So yeah, James Tony is definitely got a crazy super middleweight resume, and besides Canelo, like as far as the skilled middleweight, super middleweights, I would say James Tony is the best one, even though how many James Tony was never undisputed at super middleweight.
Nah, hold that thought 1 second. I want to give a shout out to Bronx OG. Just
Yeah,
sent me a
most of
comment. I thought AJ killed him. That was a brutal knockout, man. That was definitely a brutal knockout. He definitely was. That was a highlight reel knockout for sure.
yeah,
Anthony
that's gonna be
Joshua restored
crazy.
the honor of the heavyweight division. Now, when I grade like great fighters, when I rate legends, I go by certain criteria, right? One of the
Hmm.
criteria that I go by is accolades, which pretty much speaks for itself,
Yes,
resume,
sir. Yes, sir.
skill set, um, level of dominance, like how convincingly are you winning these fights, and your consistency.
Hmm.
When you break down James Toney's resume at 168, his notable fights there, right? Iran Barkley. He won the title against Iran Barkley. He beat Tim Littles. I don't think he was a champion, but he was a number one contender, highly skilled. He beat Tony Thornton. He also beat who else he beat at 168? He beat Tony Thornton. He beat
I have to
Prince
look
Charles
at his
Williams.
box rep.
Prince Charles Williams. I remember that fight. That was a light heavyweight champion that actually went down to 168 to meet James Toney at 168, sort of like Andre Ward had Chad Dawson meet him at 168. You
Okay.
know? So to be honest with you, James Toney's resume for his total career was definitely deep. But at 168, his resume wasn't as deep.
It wasn't that deep. Like he had some decent names on there for the time period, but it wasn't that deep because James Tony was moving around in them weights.
His overall body of work is his overall resume. But at
Hmm.
168, to my knowledge, his reign didn't last that long. He also lost to a fighter who was never really he was a good fighter in Montel Griffin, but he's not a great fighter, you know.
Yeah, I know, and
So
he awkward, so I can see why.
yeah, and now when we think about other super middleweights, for instance, let's talk about Roy Jones, the guy that dethroned James Toney. At 168, I could honestly say that Roy Jones may have the single biggest win that any super middleweight has ever had, in my opinion, by beating James Toney in his prime.
Yeah, because to beat James Tony, bro, is hard to do. Like, especially when he training for a fight like Roy. Like, that's a good ass win. because it's James, and then the win aged well because all the things James Tony went to do
Exactly.
afterwards.
Exactly. At first, the win wasn't aging well because James Toney was taking a couple of losses, but then James Toney just had that second and third win. So Roy Jones, I would say, has the best win out of all five of those super middleweight champions. But let's take a look at some of Roy Jones' wins at 168. He beat James Toney. He beat Vinny Pazienza, who was it was a pay-per-view fight, but let's be real. Vinny Pazienza, all due respect, was a lightweight, his best years.
No facts,
He moved,
factuals.
so that was a mismatch. He beat Mike McCallum, who was past his prime but still competitive. He gave Roy Jones a very competitive fight at
Yes, he
168.
did.
He beat Tony Thornton.
Tony Thornton, okay.
He beat the Dominican boy from New York, Murky Sosa.
Oh yeah, okay, I do remember that one.
And to be honest with you, Roy Jones' resume at 168 wasn't really that deep neither.
It really wasn't.
But the reason why I rate Roy Jones so high because once again, one of the
He,
criteria that I go by is level of dominance. The
yeah, he
way
was
Roy Jones,
dominating.
the way he was winning, right, in his prime, and you try to have him in a fantasy matchup with anybody, I would pick him over anybody in his prime. That's how dominant he was
No,
when
not
he was
Roy.
a champ.
Yeah, facts.
So in terms of level of dominance, I would have to say Roy Jones probably was the most dominant at 168 for the time being that his reign
Ooh,
lasted until he went up and went back down.
oh, that leg back. Yeah, go ahead, keep going. I see that Anthony Joshua and Ngannou, that leg is back.
Yeah, he put him out bad.
Yeah, that's vicious, my G.
He put him out bad for sure.
Yeah,
Now,
dog.
who else we got? We got Joe Kawasaki, right?
Yup,
Joe
Joe
Kawasaki,
Kawasaki.
his notable wins at 168. He beat Mikkel Kessler and he beat what's homeboy's name? The Olympian that went to the UK with the left hook.
Olympian went to the UK with the left hook at super middleweight.
Jeff Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey. Hey, yeah, whatchamacallit? Roy Jones fought him too.
Past his
Whatchamacallit?
prime, he beat him.
Yeah, whatchamacallit? Fought him too. Joe Kawasaki. That's what we talking about now, right?
Yeah, Joe Kawasaki. His
Yeah.
best win at 168 because he beat Roy, he beat B Hop, but he beat those guys at 175. At
Oh yeah,
168,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he beat Kessler and he beat Jeff Lacey. To my knowledge, though, because I didn't, I'm freestyling right now. I didn't look on BoxRec,
No,
but
we
to,
good, we good.
to my knowledge, those are the top guys he beat. So I can't say that Jeff Lacey is the best super middleweight in the world. Can't.
No.
I mean, not Jeff
That
Lacey, Joe
he
Kawasaki.
Joe Kawasaki. No, he didn't have like a crazy resume. He got on by beating Jeff Lacey, I think.
He was already a champion, but Jeff Lacey went over there and challenged him. That was his
Yeah,
first
yeah.
real challenge. And then we got
Ooh. Yeah, that was.
highlights.
Yeah, I'm just looking at him real quick.
Now we got what's his name? Andre Ward
He had a decent super middleweight resume because he was in the Super Six.
at super middleweight. We can't use Kovalev's name because Kovalev was 175.
Facts.
He beat Chad Dawson, who we brought down from weight. He brought him down. He beat Carl Froch. He beat Mikkel Kessler.
Good for Carl Froch is a
Yeah.
good fighter.
When CYP called in the show, he had to educate us on that with
No,
Carl
yeah.
Froch.
He gave Ness bars on that, dog.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. A lot
Yeah,
of
he
times
was.
CYP be out
Yeah,
of pocket, but yeah, he got off on Ness today for sure. Shout out to Ness, man, and
yeah. No, shout
CYP.
out. That was some good work.
Yeah. So he got Mikkel Kessler, he got Carl Froch, he got Chad Dawson, he got Arthur Abraham, he got Saki Abikia, and he got Edison Miranda. Andre Ward has a good resume at
No,
168.
that's a good resume.
He
Yeah,
does.
that's good. That's a good resume, bro. Andre Ward had work at super middleweight. He was fighting some people. Saki Obika was a hard fight.
Yeah.
He was dirty too. Saki Obika was known for being dirty.
And
Oh
mind
my
you,
God.
going into that Super Six, Andre Ward was the underdog too. He wasn't even a favorite.
He wasn't. That's what I was trying to tell folks. Like, he wasn't even a favorite to win the tourney.
Nah.
And he still, hey, listen, that's the definition of garlic butter. Like, you ever want to know the definition of what garlic butter is? Anthony Joshua knocking out a man in two. Listen, I'm gonna explain this before we move on to the super middleweight. If you can't stay in a fight for 10 rounds with a champion, if it go less than 4, you know you have no business ever being in there. If it goes 6, remember that's a 6-round fighter. If it go 8, that means you still in the mid-tier stages of what you're doing because somebody stopped you. You didn't get stopped in the championship rounds. You got stopped in the 8th round. Once you make it to the 10th, 11th, and 12th, then you deserve. That's why Caleb Plant deserved because he had the skills to stay at bay with Canelo. That's why we talk about super middleweights. He had
Bless
he had the skill set to keep Canelo at bay until Canelo found his mark. It didn't go 2 rounds and he went straight to bed. Listen, to bed.
you. Flatline.
Undertaker, right back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, listen, that
Yo, he leaned
Anthony,
back,
hey,
yo.
listen, I'm
Yo,
a
he
fan
leaned
of
back.
Joshua. He was gone, bro. He was laid out like flat, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's done. Listen,
Yeah.
that goes to show you.
Real rap, man. He laid him out, bro. That was
You look,
brutal,
see,
man.
this is the thing. Conor McGregor, at that point in Floyd's career, it's about money with Floyd.
Keep cooking. I'm gonna get some water. Keep cooking.
Keep doing your thing. It's about money with Floyd. But he not about to take Cuz for play because Cuz just knocked somebody's brains out. He knocked Fury down. And Fury got clout in the heavyweight division. So, like, when Anthony Joshua came to the table, he like, oh no, I ain't about to play with this dude. Like, he put Fury down. He evidently taking it serious. Because
Yo,
people,
Anthony Joshua was so poised. He was so composed. He was ready for
yeah,
that
no,
last
and
round.
listen, he didn't even celebrate the knockout, so he expected it.
And he was humble after the fight. I like how he talked, how he carried himself.
Yeah,
He
because it's
wasn't
another African man for real. He know, like, but this is the thing that I say that's not wrong with boxing when he got in there. He looked out for Cousin, and that's a real boxing fight. He gave him a payday, bro. That's a crazy. Where they in the Sheik, Saudi? That's a crazy payday for Cuz. He got paid to get put to sleep. And that right there is the trickery of boxing. That even though he did good stylistically with one man, when he got in there with a man who matched his physical physique, you seen it was different. It wasn't even 2 rounds, bro.
When it's all said and done, Anthony Joshua looked the part. He went in there and looked like a heavyweight champion, what a heavyweight champion is supposed to look like.
Hey, listen, I gotta light up to Cuz. Like, hey, listen, I don't give props for real if you ain't sweet. That's how Anthony Joshua was supposed to be looking. If you
That's how a
don't
heavyweight
box,
champion, period. That's
that's
how a
how you
heavyweight champion is supposed to look.
that's how you freaking box. Remember when Martin Louis, that's how you drive. You drive like that. That is how you box. When you in the super middleweight, now we gonna carry it right back over. Watch. When you in the super middleweight division and
Now with the super
you,
middleweight division, like we were saying, right? We said we covered Andre Ward's resume.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The-
When you Andre Ward, how you that resume is how you box. That's a good super middleweight resume.
Now, so now we're gonna get to Canelo's resume. Cause we're going by each criteria, like I said, we're going by resume, accolades, skill set, consistency, and level of dominance. So Canelo Alvarez,
Automatically number one because he was undisputed.
well, as far as accolades go, I could definitely agree with that. John Doe, time for him, time for him to go back to UFC. Absolutely, absolutely right, John Doe. Absolutely right. Shout out to John Doe in the comment
Yeah,
section.
shout out to Johnny Dozy. Yeah, you got
So,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, bro. It's
Johnny
a
Doe.
wrap.
So like I was saying, so now with Canelo's accomplishments at 168 surpassed his contemporaries. To my knowledge, Canelo was the only undisputed super middleweight champion in the four belt era at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we automatically got to put him number one in terms of accolades. Now we're gonna compare Canelo's resume with the other guys we mentioned. Canelo at 168, he beat Rocky Fielding for a belt, right?
Well,
He beat
that put him in line for Callum Smith.
he beat Callum Smith for two belts because Callum Smith was a unified champion, and then he
Damn,
beat
that's even a crazier win then. That
yeah,
is right. He had like a WBA and something else or something like that.
and then he beat Billy Joe, right?
Yup,
And
smoked
then
his
he
boots,
beat
broke his face.
yeah, and then he beat Caleb Plant. So
Listen,
he won those
listen,
belts.
I gotta say this.
What's up?
That was dominance because he beat dude up so bad he hurt his arm. And Callum Smith was good because Callum Smith was trying to make a fight with David Benavidez. I heard him say they wasn't trying to fight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was a good win because he had a double belt. The fact that he broke Billy Joe Saunders' face, that's a wrap. And
And then
then
he stopped Caleb Plant. And mind you, Caleb Plant went on to go 12 rounds with Benavidez. Usually when a fighter gets broken the way Canelo broke him, right?
wait, he Benavidez didn't stop playing.
No, it went 12 rounds. I believe he could have stopped him, but the referee wasn't letting him work too much on the inside. But
I thought
so
Benavidez stopped playing.
nah, he ain't stopping, bro. I saw that. It went 12 rounds.
He did not stop Caleb Plant, bro.
No, he did not stop him. It went 12 rounds. Canelo stopped him
He
in
can't beat
11 rounds.
Canelo, bro. He can't beat Canelo then. Listen, bro. If you telling me right now that he did not stop him, are you absolutely sure? I'm
I'm
just
a
making
thousand. I'm 1,000% correct. Shout out to Aaron
Aaron Nemus.
Nymos. No, he didn't stop him. Thank you. He didn't
Listen,
stop him.
then how is he gonna beat Canelo? Cause he couldn't break the Caleb Plant code.
Here the plan was holding on for dear life. Yeah, Aaron.
Why he couldn't hold the smaller Canelo man? Somebody explain that. I'm just asking. Because we talk about resumes, dominance. If Benavidez is such a killer, why didn't he stop Caleb Plant? And why he couldn't keep Caleb Plant off of him, but then Canelo could?
Mill City Boxing salute. Mill City in the building, man. What's
Man,
going
shout
on?
out to Mill City. Because I follow them on IG, I think.
Yeah, definitely, man. So
Who
like
is
I was
Mill
saying,
City? Who is
huh?
that? Who is
Mill
that?
City. It's a YouTube channel too. He's the one that does all the interviews with everybody.
All right,
Yeah, he's a big platform,
I'm gonna
man.
get on YouTube. Shout out to Mill City,
He
dog.
hasn't been on that long, but his John grew fast already, bro. Shout out to Mill City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to Mill
definitely.
City. We out here, blood.
So like I was saying, the fact that Canelo had already stopped Caleb Plant, it should have been easier for Plant to get stopped by Benavidez, because usually that's the case, right?
What
Because the
he
fighter,
not listen? That's single handedly what you're saying. today, I'm gonna bag Ness in them. The fact that you're saying that is the fact that he didn't get to fight with Canelo. Now think about what I'm saying. The fact that he did not stop Caleb Plant is the fact that he did not get the fight because that small of an intricate detail of not stopping a man from clinching you is a technical skill set thing, and he does not have the skill set to beat Canelo, bro. I'm
Now, don't get me
sorry.
wrong. I'm not saying that I believe Benavidez could beat Canelo. That remains to be seen. But I also know
Mm,
better that I'm not gonna make a pick based on what each guy did with a common opponent, because you and I
I
both
am
know that that's a triangle theory. You know what I mean?
not really
Example,
because
real quick
I
example,
go ahead.
real quick. Tyson Fury struggled with Ngannou, right? And we saw what AJ did, right? A lot of people they like to like punch drunk, like to say, slaves to the moment. So a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, Ngannou can beat Tyson Fury because of what he did." Now, I'm not saying he could. I'm not saying he
No,
can't,
but that's
but
the
it
thing.
doesn't
He
mean that
didn't
he
beat
could.
him though. He
Huh?
didn't beat him though.
Who didn't beat
And,
who?
and Gano didn't beat Tyson Fury though. So
Mm.
like, so he couldn't have beat him with what he did because at the end of the fight, if you was to score it, if they did, he didn't win. So no, he couldn't have beat him in no round fight because we seen after the knockdown, which Tyson Fury has been knocked down by lesser people than Ngannou and Deontay Wilder. He's been knocked down by Steve Cunningham. So it's just
Yeah.
like, and Steve Cunningham got a freakish body anyway. Pause. And it's not a triangle theory. The triangle
And then,
theory.
real quick,
The,
and then Nehemiah said triangle theories definitely don't always translate. We saw that tonight. Joyce beat Parker, Zhang beat Joyce, and Parker beat Zhang. Absolutely, but
listen,
I do pick
whatever.
Fury to beat AJ.
This is what I'm saying. The reason why I'm saying in the Caleb Plant thing with Benavidez. Once you see how to beat somebody and you're as big as Benavidez, see, this is why it's not a triangle theory. Benavidez is bigger than Canelo. They say he's the monster. He's the harder puncher. He's gonna overwhelm him. He's gonna kill him. Well, why he couldn't stop Caleb Plant? That's why it's no excuse for me. If you have to stop him worse than what the reason why I don't think Tyson Fury can see AJ because he's bigger than Ngannou and definitely he's sharper. And actually what he did to Ngannou shows me that he's grew as a fighter and some fighters plateau. Tyson Fury can't get any better. He can't. What Tyson Fury gonna do better, bro? He got inside work. He's sweet on his feet. He's slim. Tyson is nothing that Tyson can do. What he can do is take repeated sharp punches from somebody who's sharp like AJ. Not like Wilder, because now AJ has a sense of something else. Maybe it's a slight sense of defense, confidence. He don't care. Whatever it is, he figured it out, and it's not going to be the same,
AJ,
bro.
he stepped his game up, and that tactic that Fury used with Wilder, when he was leaning on him with his weight, that's not going to work with AJ.
Listen, I
AJ is
know
a
it ain't
big
going to
man
work
too.
because I seen Ngannou try to tie up AJ and AJ neutralized the clinch. And see, I did MMA. When he tied him up, he overhooked one arm and kind of like overhooked him a certain way. And then Ngannou couldn't move AJ because he's bigger. He's not small, bro. He's big. So like, even when he in there against Tyson Fury, it's gonna look different because Tyson Fury not that much bigger than AJ.
Yeah,
And so when we take that to the super middleweight division, David Benavidez is clearly bigger than Canelo, and so is Caleb Plant. But why did the smaller man have the
stop.
skill set to stop him late and figure it out? But David
Exactly.
Benavidez couldn't. That is not a triangle theory. That is skills. Because
Now
Caleb
look,
Plant is skillful, bruh.
now champ, let's get back to the
Go
resume
ahead.
of Canelo, right? Those are all the guys Canelo beat to become undisputed, right? Now
Yup.
Canelo also made title defenses, right? People criticize him because he brought Charlo up in weight, right? But let's not forget, Charlo was one of his nemesis when he was from 154. He also brought Triple G up, right? He beat John Ryder, and he's about to fight Jaime Munguia. So right
But
now
he
we got
already,
the
but to keep it 100 though, he met Triple G at middleweight first.
yeah, exactly. Um, but my thing is this. So now we got the resumes of all four of those great super middleweights. So we can say that Canelo Alvarez, in terms of accolades, is ahead of Roy. He's ahead of Andre Ward. He's ahead of Joe Kawasaki, and he's ahead
And
of
James Tony.
James Toney as far as accolades at 168. So to whoever just tuned to y'all that just tuned in right now, we're talking about the five best super middleweights of all time in our opinions and who we feel is the greatest. So we're talking about Canelo Alvarez, right? James Lights
Mm-hmm.
Out Tony,
Yes,
Roy
sir.
Jones Jr., Joe Kawasaki, and Andre Ward. To me, those are the five best super middleweights of all time. If anybody has a
Hey,
list of five or
before
any other ones, put
I
them
didn't
on the
mean to
chat.
cut you off.
What's
I
up?
didn't mean to cut you off, but can you please let them know we are not talking about the prime Roy at 60 when he first, and we're not talking about nothing that prime Roy did, and we're not talking about these guys head to head like
No,
that.
we're not talking about head to head. Roy Jones was in his prime at 168, but we're talking about overall career. Just because a fighter we could consider as the greatest of all time doesn't mean that that person can't lose to another fighter. You feel me? So, with that being said, Canelo Alvarez so far has the most accolades at 168. As far as resume, that's a tight one. For me, that's gonna have to come down between Canelo and Andre Ward because those two guys have the deepest resumes at 168. But Roy Jones has the single biggest win at 168 when he beat
Over
James
James
Toney.
Tony, yes.
What's Canelo's best win at 168 for you? Excuse me,
Best win at
168.
168 will have to be for me. Will have to be Callum Smith because he had two belts and he said he was trying to get work with David Benavidez. He couldn't get nobody to fight him, bro. That was his words. That's what he said, and I believe it because you, David Benavidez, Callum Smith is tall and he could box. So it's like, and he already at 168. That's a hard fight for David Benavidez due to how he
So for,
liked to
so
fight.
for you, Callum Smith is Canelo's best win at 168, right?
I would have to because he had two belts.
For
But and
me,
I mean, even though I would
yeah.
say it's his best win, but the hardest one was Caleb Plant to this day because if he fought David Benavidez and David Benavidez didn't stop him, that was a harder fight.
And for me, I got to go with Plant because Plant usually was the style. What's up, Jackie Hernandez? Salute to you. Appreciate you. We're talking about the five greatest super middleweights of all time, right? Jackie, we talking about Canelo Alvarez, Andre Ward, um, Joe Kawasaki, James Toney, and Roy Jones Jr. We're trying to decide and break them all down to figure out who's the greatest super middleweight of all time. So, champ, like I was saying, so I say Caleb Plant is Canelo's best win at 168 because Caleb Plant has a style that used to give Canelo issues, right? That's
Facts.
that's the fight where he showed his growth that he can handle that slick type of style. He made the adjustments, he broke him down, and he stopped him, which is something that David Benavidez couldn't do, right? So that's Canelo's best win. We both agree that Roy Jones' best win at 168 was James Toney, right? Was James Toney's best win at 168?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna say. Can you hear me?
Yeah, to the nobody 92. I think I know who it is, bro. I
When
should
you
probably be
coming
back in
back
the
to the gym, low?
yeah, God willing, tomorrow morning, man. God willing, tomorrow morning. I got a lot of things to do tomorrow, family coming over and stuff, but I'm gonna try to make time for tomorrow in the morning.
I would say yeah, James Tony because James Tony is a GOAT, and for Roy Jones to beat James Tony says, and he said it himself, like he's the most skilled guy ever been in there with. So it's like, James Tony is the most notable win for all the 68ers.
You know, I'm
With the
asking you, who's James Tony's best win at 168?
oh, who's James Tony best win at 168? Iran Barkley. I would
Rand
say
Barkley.
Iran Barkley because he looked the best. And if I'm not mistaken, you said Iran Barkley had a title. So like seeing a prime James and like everything he did in that fight, like Iran Barkley.
I agree with you as far as performance wise, but as far as competition wise, at the time, Barkley was past his prime. I would have to say Prince Charles Williams, who was a light heavyweight champion, who went down to meet James Tony at 168, very similar to what um Chad Dawson did when he fought Andre Ward.
Under Ward,
But that
yeah.
was a tough fight. It might be that one, or it might be his win over Tim Littles, because that's a fight where James Tony got his eye busted. The
I was
referee
gonna
told
say
him,
that, but then it's kind of like I was gonna say that, but remember one of the criteria was dominance. So when I think about who he fought and how he dominated him, that's why I'm like he dominated cuz
and I don't
badly.
think Tim Littles ever became a champion either. So yeah,
Yeah, no, I was talking about even that how he dominated Iran Barkley, like he
he
just
chopped him up.
dominate. Yeah, he
He
chopped.
chopped him
He
up.
that's one of the definitions of garlic. When you
Yo,
have
bro,
Benihanas,
he
that's
had
a
that was straight
Benihana.
garlic for real, garlic butter sazon. He
Yeah.
had his back on the rope. Real rap.
Garlic
That was
butter
garlic butter
sazon.
sazon. Yo,
Hey,
he had
that's
his back on the
hard.
ropes. Yo, check it out. James Tony, he had his back on the ropes like that, catching everything, rolling
Bro,
underneath,
listen, that
catching
was
the
garlic butter
combination. He tore his
sazon.
ass up,
Hey,
man.
listen, that's you gotta use that's your shit.
Yeah.
Garlic butter sazon. Hey, that's tough. That's how you that needs to be on a shirt. You need to put that on a shirt. What does that mean? Garlic butter sazon.
Sazon, that's a homemade seasoning that Spanish people make. We make that with peppers, onions, garlic, all type of stuff. We grind it all up. I'm gonna show you something real quick because
No,
I make my own.
yeah, yeah, go on. I need to see that.
Keep on cooking. Yeah, that's excuse me, that's not,
See, that's something that you gotta add in with. Yeah, that James Tony gave him that garlic butter sazon. That he chopped him up and mixed it into a sauce, sazon. And I'm the saucier, so I need to see that sazon.
see, you know what I mean? You put it in these right here.
Oh yeah, no, that's hard. Yeah, you listen. I
Yeah.
love it's nothing. I love Spanish, African Spanish, whatever you want to call it. Love that cuisine, my G. So it's like I eat plantains. I eat a lot of African and our foods. You know what I'm saying? So that is something like that's how you can. That's a part of. That's a first for this channel, and this is new. When you come with a saying like that, it's a wrap, bro. Garlic butter sazon. I stamped it.
Now
Garlic
we're gonna
butter
talk about
sazon.
so now we're gonna talk about Andre Ward's best win at 168 pounds.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Carl Froch.
I'm gonna have. I was gonna say
Dawson, no, I'm gonna go with Chad Dawson. Even though he was moving, he brought him down from 175. Chad Dawson had the better win than anybody else on Andre Ward's resume at the time. He beat Bernard Hopkins.
wait.
He was a champion.
Did he stop Mikael Kessler?
No, Andre Ward ain't really stopped nobody except for Kovalev.
I thought he stopped
and Chad
Mikel
Dawson.
Kessler with the eye. He messed his eye. He like he blooded. He like bruised his
Probably
eye
did.
up.
Probably did.
I'm not sure, but I would like to say Carl Froch because he broke his hand and he had to still get it out. Like that. Listen, I'm gonna say Carl Froch because he broke his hand, and that is so hard to do when you hurt your hand and you fighting, bro. I fought in this Ohio State Fair with a messed up thumb, and I couldn't even listen. It is so painful to let that joint go. Cause as soon as that pain hit your hand, you be like, "Oh my goodness, it hurts so bad." So like, no, I'm gonna say the Carl Froch because that if you only got one hand, that really show your skill set. Cause then you just gotta beat him with the jab for real.
I gotta agree with Carl Froch also. I was gonna at first I was leaning towards Chad Dawson, but Chad Dawson, there's an asterisk behind that because Chad Dawson was brought down from 175. So 168, we can say that Chad Dawson, I mean Carl Froch is Andre Ward's best win at 168. Now
Yeah,
Joe Calzaghe, I would say I would say Mikel Kessler. No, no, I would say Jeff Lacey because at the time he was an Olympian. They was building him up, and Jeff Lacey was the favorite to win.
I'm gonna be honest and say Roy Jones because
That was
after he.
175 before them, bro.
Oh
Before
yeah,
Roy
you
at
right, you
175.
right, you right. No, you right. Then well, then Jeff Lacey.
All right, so
Well, no,
Roy Jones
I'm gonna say Chris Eubank Jr. No, Chris Eubank. Didn't he fight
before
Chris
Chris.
Eubank? He, he Joe Calzaghe fought Chris Eubank, bro.
No,
You didn't know he dropped him,
no, he didn't fight Chris Eubank. But let me see. Let me look
bro.
that up right
Look it
now.
up. Look it up, bro. I'm
I'm gonna
sure
look
he
it up
fought
on
him.
YouTube right now as we speak on my TV, man. So,
I think he
he,
fought Chris Eubank, bro.
let
Listen,
me see.
if I'm correct, it was Chris
Let
Eubanks
me
close to the end of his career, but it was at 68 because Chris Eubank was at 68.
let me see. Let me see. Let me see what you're talking about. I'll tell you right now. But we could all unanimously say that Roy Jones has the best win out of all the other super middleweights, right?
In facts,
Okay, so Roy Jones got the best win. So Canelo has the most accolades. Resume, as far as that's a tough one, man. I think I would have to go with probably Canelo. Resume at 168 because he took belts from each and every champion, and he also made a few. He also made a couple of title defenses. One of them was against a former middleweight champion, and one of them was against an undisputed champion, even though he was coming up two weight classes.
yeah, I think
Right,
Joe Kawasaki fought Chris Eubank.
you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
That's his best win. I don't care what nobody say. Chris Eubank was real.
All right, we can say that.
That's just me because Chris Eubank one of my favorite fighters. People probably don't even know
But
that.
but the thing is about Chris Eubank, he was past his prime though.
Man, I don't care though, cause he still was a dog in there, bro. So that's like beating somebody like that means a lot for somebody. Cause remember, cause Chris Eubank beat Cuz twice in a brutal fight. Nigel, like that was a brutal. Listen,
He did.
after he fought him, he told a woman he loved him and said, "I need to go to the hospital. I really need to go now, like right now." It was an Adrian Broner moment against Maidana. Like, I know I'm hurt. I need to really go. I'm gonna say,
The no to the nobody 92. Joe Kawasaki beat Bernard Hopkins at 175. What we're talking about is what they did at
at
160.
68.
Because the topic of the live is who's the greatest super middleweight of all time, right? So the five most noteworthy super middleweights that we can think of: Canelo Alvarez, Joe Kazaki, Roy Jones Jr., Andre Ward, and James Toney. So we're talking about what they did at 168. You feel me? So Bernard Hopkins doesn't go on that list for Joe Kawasaki's resume at 168. You feel me? Just like with Canelo, we're not gonna bring up Daniel Jacobs because Daniel Jacobs that took place at 160. We're talking about what they did at
I
168.
might I might change my James Tony win. I'm gonna say Michael Nunn.
That was 160, bro.
It was.
That was 160. That was James Tony's first world title. He was a
I
20
thought
to
I
1
could have
underdog,
swore
bro.
that I was at 68 because Michael
Nah,
Nunn was so tall.
that was 160.
And then I stay with my same cuz.
Yeah. So, like I said, Roy Jones has the best win out of all of them at 168 in beating James Toney. Canelo has the best accolades because he's the only one that was undisputed.
Facts.
Canelo
That's a
probably has
fact.
the deeper resume is Canelo. Um,
And he did it all in like 1 year
yeah,
type John. Like he
okay.
wasn't playing.
Hopkins, Kozaki fought at 175. Yeah, exactly. They fought at 175. So now we're gonna talk. So we covered resume, we covered accolades, we covered the best overall win. Now we're gonna talk about skill set. Skill set out of all five of those fighters, who you feel is the most skilled?
Hmm. That's a good one. Hands down, I have to say James Tony. And the next is a tie between Canelo and Andre Ward.
Yo, thank you for the compliment, John Doe. Appreciate that. You know I know my stuff. You know what I mean? Um, And so does Troy King. He knows his stuff too. You know, when I do live with people, I do live with people that can, this is what you call verbal sparring. People that I can talk with, they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Follow Troy
Yeah.
King Entertainment also on Instagram. He's one of the guys that I first started watching YouTube videos of as well. He's been around for a minute, professional fighter and everything. But yeah, like I was saying, so skill wise, I would definitely have to agree with that. James Toney skillfully is the most skilled. I would say Roy Jones is the most athletically gifted.
No, he was clearly the most athletically gifted.
And then I would say the next one would be Andre Ward, because I think Andre Ward's more skilled than Canelo.
That's I would say they was about he was more skilled than
Similar.
Canelo. He was more skilled than Canelo because he could
Mhm.
box off the back foot right and left handed. For real.
So,
People don't know Andre Ward left handed.
so are we saying that Joe Kawasaki is the least skilled out of all five of them?
Damn. I would say I can't say that because Joe Kawasaki, people don't know, he used to be a puncher until he started hurting his hands.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Joe Kawasaki could punch, bro. He started having hand problems. That's why I
Yo,
say,
somebody got a question for you in the chat.
yes,
I'll
sir.
let you answer it.
What they want?
I'll read it to you. The nobody says, why doesn't he? Obviously, he must have followed you before because he said, why doesn't Troy King do videos with Boxing Ego anymore? Or maybe he still does, and I'm not in tune. I'll let you answer that.
Hey, listen, bro. I don't know, bro. You have to ask ego, but if I want to be honest, if I could be candidly honest, because Leos, we don't care, bro. We only gonna come with the truth with no shame. Dude just skated. He was in his feelings because people start coming to his show for to see me. And this is the thing. If you're behind the all right, just put it like this. We ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it. When Ego was the hottest, was he in front of the camera or was he behind the camera? Behind the camera. When he wanted to be, it's like the R&B singers Neo. He was writing music for everybody, but they wanted to be in the limelight. So when you look at his show now, he's in front of the camera. He he's not comfortable in front of the camera for real. But his name, ego, if you follow the Bible or any type of religious acumen, the ego is temptation of the flesh and when you in your emotions. Leos do not have time for that.
Facts.
We
And
listen,
yo,
we do not have time for you to be in your emotions as men. We do not play that. It's logical at this point.
The
He,
Nobody 92. You can catch Troy King also on the. He got his own channel as well. But you could
yeah,
also
Troy
catch him
Killer
on the
Tammy
Boxing Voice.
King.
He been on the Boxing Voice a lot for the past week lately. He's been doing some good content over there, having good debates with Nestor Gibbs, who also, he's somebody in the game too. He knows his stuff. He's a little crazy, controversy over yeah. But
Yeah, no facts. But yeah, that's it, bro. Cause people be asking me that all the time, and that's just what the real is. Like I'm not
but
gonna.
that's how I found you. That's how I
But
found
that's
you
how
on
me and
YouTube
my man hooked
through.
up. But hold on, that's not how we really pause. That's not how we really met. Pause. One day I was at a social media conference in Manhattan with my ex fiance, and I went to Mendez Boxing because every city I go to, I'm coming to the gym because people think it's a joke when I say I'll stop you. I went to the gym and my man was like, "You Troy," and he didn't. He
Yeah.
didn't even tell me that we had been talking on Instagram for years, and I mean years. But then he was like, "Blood, we be on the gram." I'm like, "Oh, you lightweight, my nigga? We friends, nigga."
That's how I ran into you at Mendez Gym, yo.
Yeah, and then after that, we just kept rocking, bro. That's it. I'm a real one like that. But shout out to my man Love.
Yeah. But like I was saying, so we was talking about. Oh yeah, so we was talking about Joe Kawasaki. Is Joe
Yes,
Kawasaki the least skilled out
I
of those
can't
five?
really say that, bro, because he has some skills.
He was
Like,
off
cause
with.
he fought with his hands down and he was left-handed, and that's how he was getting Roy catch. He was catching Roy with a little peekaboo type style. He'll put his head out. Roy will try to get, because Roy's hooks is short. Roy will try to get the short hook off, and Kawasaki go slip, slip, and then start throwing loopies because Roy's high guard right here. And Kawasaki had he had to change his style up, and he was slick. If you go back and watch Kawasaki, you will be surprised. Him
He
and
was
Sergio,
athletic. He was
him and
very
Ser,
athletic too.
him and Sergio Martinez had a similar style.
Now, so now we're gonna talk about because obviously, like we said, James Tony's the most skilled out of all of them, right? Fundamentally, everything, right? So now we're gonna talk about level of dominance, how these guys were winning. You touched on how Canelo Alvarez at 168, all his fights have been clear, no close calls, no controversy. He fought Billy Joe Saunders, broke his face. He
Broke his
fought
face.
for Callum Smith. He had Callum Smith on the back foot. He won every single round. He put his hands in his pocket. He
That's
fought
crazy.
he fought Caleb Plant. That was the most competitive, but he stopped him, right?
He
He fought
stopped him.
Rocky Fielding. He stopped him. He defended a belt against Triple G. He beat him, outclassed him. He fought Jamel Charlo, outclassed him, had him on the back foot. So Canelo definitely has a high level of dominance. But
I
for
would say
me,
he the next scale, best skill. Him and Andre. I mean, it's kind of hard because with them wins,
no, we're
it's
talking about the
like,
level of dominance as far as
oh,
their
the level
wins
of
at 168.
dominance.
I still got to go with Roy overall. Roy Jones at 168 dominant. His dominance was ridiculous. He was beating dudes up, knocking them out, and breakdancing and doing all type of crazy stuff in the ring, bro. Come
Yeah,
on, man.
you right, bro. You
Come
right,
on,
bro.
man.
No, I was really trying to think because Canelo just not that type of fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like he not in there to pull. The most I seen Canelo playing and styling is with, even though it wasn't at 68, with Chavez Jr., Danny Jacobs, and Bivol. Because I seen him kind of playing with B, like trying to style a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like Roy Jones is by far the craziest at 68, by
The
far.
most dominant. Yes.
And I don't even think we can't talk about a head to head because at 68, Roy
Head to head, I got
Jones,
Roy Jones, champ. I
yeah,
ain't gonna
Roy
cut you off.
Jones is unbeatable.
Head to head, I'm gonna just put it like this: Roy Jones head to head, in my opinion, beats all of them. But when we talk about the whole body of work, everything combined at 168, I'm gonna make my pick and say that it might be controversial because a lot of people don't like this dude, but I don't care. I got my own mind. I believe Canelo Alvarez is gonna go down as the greatest super middleweight of all time so far.
Clearly.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I had made a video in the past about Roberto Duran and Canelo Alvarez, right? And I ranked, and I still rank Roberto Duran ahead of Canelo Alvarez. And one of the
No, yeah,
reasons,
yeah.
and one of the reasons why, because Roberto Duran is considered the greatest in his weight class. You could be a legend, but not be considered the best ever in a weight class. You feel me?
No,
Example.
yeah. Roberto Duran is considered the
So
greatest
So at one point
lightweight.
I said Canelo has never been considered the greatest in the weight class, right? But now I gotta double back and say that Canelo is the greatest super middleweight of all time. I'm still not gonna say he's better than Duran, but Canelo Alvarez is definitely, in my opinion, the greatest super middleweight of all time, based on his accolades, right? Undisputed, based
Undisputed.
on based on none of them have great resumes there, but I think Canelo has the deepest resume at 168. I would have to go with consistency, being that he's still there, being that he's still making title defenses, and then
No
I got to go with
facts.
the fact that he's winning these fights one sided. Now, when it comes to um the best win overall, I would have to say Roy Jones. If Roy Jones, because Roy Jones was at 168 when you had some killers there. If Roy Jones would have fought Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, and Gerald McClellan and beat those guys, add that to James Toney, then I would have said Roy Jones Jr. would be the greatest super middleweight of all time.
Yeah, you
That right there
can't. Yeah,
makes
that's
up for the
T.
lack of belts. Like you could
Yeah.
be a one belt champion and have those guys in your resume, and I'm gonna rank you higher than a guy that's
No, I
undisputed.
would have to. I would have to, cause you beat them Negroes. You was the truth. Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, no, facts, facts. And that's something technical that I don't think people would get, cause people rank belts in their mind so high. But if anything, that will put them kind of like close to the fact that Canelo was undisputed. But then the fact that Roy Jones beat those people at super middleweight, that is a hard thing to do because everybody could punch, had skill. All them guys even train with each other at the same gym, bro. Like James Tony and McClellan. Like,
Yeah,
nah, bro.
they
If
both
Roy
Detroit.
Jones would have
They from
beat them
Michigan, so
two,
they're gonna run into each other. You know what I mean? They from
and
Michigan.
Nigel Ben, bro. If he would have
Yeah.
beat Gerald McClellan and Nigel Ben, that would have been crazy.
Combine that with James Toney, exactly. But
Yeah,
for
it's
some reason,
crazy.
I don't know if it was promotional reasons or what, but Roy Jones never got a chance to fight some of those other guys. He never fought Gerald. Imagine if he would have beat Gerald McClellan
I
and
think
James
Gerald
Toney.
McClellan was like way out at that time.
No, Gerald McClellan had moved up. Gerald McClellan moved up from 160 to 168 to challenge Nigel Benn, and that's when he
Oh,
lost.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's when he lost that fight. But going into that fight, people were saying if Gerald McClellan beats Nigel Benn, him and Roy Jones should unify. But once again, that never happened.
I don't think I don't think that Roy could have beat Gerald McClellan.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. The height of Roy, the skill set, and the tutelage of where Gerald McClellan was coming from and how vicious of a puncher he was. Roy is good, but his style would have been hard technically because Gerald McClellan had a jab, a hook, a right hand.
That straight right hand is a punch. Though that's the punch that has always knocked out Roy Jones. The straight.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying because even if he missed a straight, his hook used to be at a distance where it wasn't making him liable to get hit and is going right to. Listen, bro, I've watched that hook so many highlights or watching Joe McClellan highlights because I was training a fighter and I was like, bro, the way your arms is long and the way your body build, pause, you should watch Gerald McClellan. And look how he throw his right and dig the hook over there. Like he cuff it so he had the most one of the most perfect hooks. Like
Yeah,
Sugar
that
Ray
left hook to the
Robinson
body was crazy.
was
In fact,
crazy.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know if
pull I'm
he
gonna pull up some highlights right now. I don't get flagged for that, right? Because like I said, you know about this. Would I get flagged if I show like a highlight of Gerald McGlennon?
no, because I kind of they be talking fair use style. Because that's what people be showing other people's highlights. And
Let
since
me
if you're
show
not
you.
just showing it right, you can show it like partly, but since I'm in the video, it's not gonna be like it's like I'm in the video too. So they're not gonna flag it
Yeah.
because the video as one is you're showing something along with me.
Now we're looking at this Gerald McGlennon body shot. We're gonna look at this right
Like
now.
you really gotta watch how Gerald McClellan used to be smoking. Like technically, he was Roy Jones had athleticism,
Turn
but
this
he
camera.
wasn't technically sound. I'm sorry, bro. I know y'all gonna probably be mad about that.
Them body shots. Look how G-Man will go to the body. Watch this.
Boom. Listen,
That was
look at
Julian
the.
Jackson knocked out right there.
Listen, bro.
Watch this
I'm
one.
sorry.
Boom. That left hook to the body. Liver shot. I remember that fight. That fight was in Puerto Rico. That was on a Felix Trinidad card.
See that right there? You see how he cuffed that? Rewind that. That was the one, bro. Like, watch how he just cuff it up under there.
Yeah. And he stabbed him with it.
And look, his other hand is up. Man, listen. Roy, listen, bro. That would have slowed Roy down. And Gerald McClellan is not a man who doesn't use the jab. Him and James Toney used to spar regularly in the
That's another
crunk.
fight that we never got a chance. Like those, it's a shame that we had so many great fighters around the same weight class. We did see some fights. We got to see Roy versus Tony. We seen
Can
Roy
you
versus
imagine Gerald
yeah.
McClellan and James Toney, bro?
Who you think would have won that fight? And, and
Honestly, blood, I'm gonna go
let
with
me correct
James
myself real
Toney.
quick. This is not called sazon. Sazon is the actual seasoning, right? This is sofrito. We make
Oh,
it
I've
into a
heard of
sofrito.
sofrito. Yeah, no, I
Garlic butter
know, no, bro.
sofrito.
But the sazon is the
Yeah,
perfect name because it's seasoning. And
yeah,
when you
garlic
get
butter
your ass
sazon.
seasoned up, that means now that's what I'm saying. Now, Gerald McClellan could have beat Roy Jones because he was 6'2". He was tall and he had the range. And the way he fought, Gerald McClellan used to kind of be like this, with his hand out here, like, and he knew how to stick his jab. Like Gerald McClellan was very technically sound, and that's Roy Jones' weakness, a good jab, technically sound, because Roy Jones kind of be like right here, and he would be trying to do shit like jump in and cover that distance. And doing that with Gerald McClellan, bro,
You could run into a big right hand.
with James Toney and Gerald McClellan is different because the fundamental style that Gerald McClellan possesses, his hand and how he throws straight punches, James Toney roll and shoulder, how he that is made for super
And also
technical guys.
James Tony was also a lot more durable than Roy Jones. He had a better like
Man,
even if
he
you
had
take even if you get hit, James Tony would take a punch. I
he's
got
not
more
I don't
confidence.
he never been knocked down, right?
He was knocked down off balance before. Roy Jones dropped
Oh,
him off balance.
Roy Jones ain't never. I mean, James Toney ain't never been down from a punch. Like
He
in
never
this,
been he
from
never been
hurt.
down where he looked drunk. He been knocked down before from a punch. Roy dropped him with a punch,
Yeah,
but
I know
like I
what you're
said,
saying, but it was like more off balance. But I'm talking about
yeah,
a shot. Yeah, no, because
I never seen him buckle. Never seen his
Yeah,
knees buckle.
even
None of
when
that.
Samuel Peters hit him and he grabbed a rope and still was like, no, listen, James Toney was the most skillful by
Facts,
far. By
facts.
far. But him and Gerald McClellan, I would have to go with James Toney to be honest. He was just so defensive. He has. If you really go back and watch James Toney, when he first came on the scene, he wasn't even using the high guard like that. I mean, he wasn't even using the roll. He like
First time I
grew
seen him
into
was
that.
against Michael Nunn. That's the first time I seen him when he fought Michael Nunn.
Yeah, like it's some earlier fights of James Tony where he don't even be using the roll like that. He grew into that to where he started using it primarily, like to where he'd just be in there, young, young, sharp. Yeah, listen, I knew he was good when he chopped up Holyfield, cause Holyfield ain't nobody to play with, no matter the age, cause he stayed. Remember Holyfield beat that tall seven
That giant
footer.
heavyweight, yeah, the giant
Yeah,
dude.
like the fact that James Tony chopped him up, bro, like that and stopped him. I was like, bro, that dude is, and this is the thing. That's when I'll start paying attention to James Tony, because I watched him, but I never studied him. And when I seen him chop up Holyfield, he reminded me of Floyd, because I never seen a guy big as James Tony like his size and physique kind of like fake the hook, and he faked the jab and come with the hook, but he wasn't doing it like Roy was doing it, because Roy would be leaping in from far to where it's like you wouldn't even teach somebody that. James Tony would be like, yop, 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 and I was like, hold on, I didn't know James Tony was like this. And when I seen him stop him and doubling up hooks, and I was like, no, bro, he became one of
Exactly.
my
So
favorites.
now, once again, being that we both agree with Canelo being the greatest super middleweight of all time, who does he beat out of the guys that we mentioned? James Tony. We talk about the guys as far as the other four super middleweights to make that five between James, Andre Ward.
He beats Kawasaki.
Think so?
Yeah, cause he a European killer.
You're right.
this
You're
why
right.
we go. This why we gonna body this, bro. Cause it's just common sense. Like he knows how to beat the European style, and Billy Joe Saunders is Kawasaki.
Similar. I think Kazaki's more
No,
athletic, but
no,
yeah.
he is. But
So Canelo
they,
doesn't beat the other guys. But once again, we're
think
gonna grade
I
him.
don't think he beats Roy Jones at
No,
68.
I don't think so neither. Or James Tony or Andre Ward.
I don't think Roy Jones stops Canelo though, because
No.
Canelo's head movement alone is something. I think that Canelo can actually get some good work with Roy because of the head movement and the counter punching and the speed ability and the known power. Because I never seen Roy fight a Mexican, like a real Mexican with
Skill.
Canelo's skill and power. I never seen that. And somebody who can, because Roy was a jabber, but he not used the jab as a. See, this is where it gets tricky with the super middleweights, because when I compare their skill sets, if Roy had a good jab, like a sharp, hard jab like Floyd, it would have been different. But he used to lead in
He
with
leads
hooks.
with the hook. He
You
leads with the
not
left
gonna
hook.
hit
Yeah.
Canelo with that, bro. Canelo will be, and when you miss, he's going to hit you. And he might not been as fast as Roy speed for speed, but Roy didn't have the best defense in the pocket, and Roy's high guard was up here. Canelo going to your fucking gut.
Roy Jones' defense was mainly his athleticism, his
Yeah,
reflexes.
I don't know, bro.
That was his
Listen,
defense.
I love Roy, but I'm gonna be honest, skill for skill. This is what I'm saying. Besides James Tony, skills. Canelo possesses the skills of James Tony.
And so does Andre Ward.
And so does Andre Ward. And that's what I'm
Yo,
saying. It'll be
yo,
hard
champ.
for Roy to beat Andre Ward, dog. He
Next
way too.
time, I got an idea. What we're gonna do next time? We're gonna do a film study, right? Well,
Mhm.
I'm gonna pick out a fight. You're gonna put it on your end. I'm gonna put it on my end. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, whatever. We're gonna
No,
break the
even
fight
if you
down.
did, though, the fact that I'm on the screen with the fight is not like you're broadcasting the fight for somebody. I'm talking because people do film studies on YouTube all the time. They
Yeah,
be showing.
but I'm saying we're gonna watch an actual whole fight, and I'm gonna encourage my followers, whoever's
Yeah, I'll
watching,
be doing
to
this
put
most
that fight
definitely.
on YouTube as well to give your opinion as well. But with that being said, I'm about to call it a night. Yo, champ, it was a pleasure chopping it up, man. I just gotta figure out how to save this so it can stay on my channel.
It automatically save once
All
you
right,
end. Once you end it, it'll just start uploading on its own. You have
all
to
right,
actually physically delete it. All
I
your
got it.
lives are kept, even when you got your pre-recorded videos are kept in one part of the YouTube in the same part of the dashboard, and then you will see it at the top when you hit live. All your lives are stored
Same here.
automatically. So
Same
like
here.
if you got HD on your John, they're gonna be in they upload in the standard version first, then the HD John. So we'll talk about it, bro, because I'll be doing this. I literally soon as I get off of here, it that was a John Doe said that was a great session. Shout out to both of y'all. That's
Shout
what
out, John. Bro.
listen. I don't know what you call your John, but a great session is a good title. I'm just saying, it's something with session in it because this is what this is. Because a session got to do with teaching and all of that. Think about it, bro. Think about it. Just think about it.
One more. Yo,
Facts.
everybody, like and subscribe. Low Nose Boxing. Yo, Troy, tell them where they can find you at.
Hey, Troy Killertainment King, Cuerno de Chivo. Okay? AKA Hamza Heru Amen. Don't say the Amen if you ain't gonna say it. The hidden consciousness. Shout out to the Christos, the Christ. Yeshua, Jesus. Shout out to Muhammad. Shout out to all the ham. Shout out to my Puerto Ricans and Boricuas. Shout out to the garlic butter sazon. Shout
You
out,
already know, man.
shout out to the
Sofrito
garlic
in the
butter
building, you know what I mean?
sofrito.
Low
That's
Nose
another
Boxing.
level. That's the garlic butter sofrito.
Say
I'm
less,
out.
man. I'm out. One.